First and foremost, offering all honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement to the great King of the universe, to the God of our fathers, to the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. I bid you in the tongue of our forefathers, Shabbat Shalom Leko. Thanking the Most High God for life, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. So we're going to get started with our debate. However, before we do so, as always, we're going to offer a tefillah unto the Most High God. So would we all rise and face the east?
Hallelujah. Yehovah Ze'ev Elohe Abotenu, Elohe Abraham Yitzchak YisraEl. We give you, Yah, all thanks and praises as we appreciate the gift of life on this holy Shabbat day. We thank you, Yah, for the safe passage of everyone that's adjourned to join us for this huge Shabbat. We ask you, great King, to continue to keep them safe as they stay with us and do the same as they return to their places that they came from. We ask you, the Most Holy One, be the words of every speaker tonight. And we ask you, great King, let the spirit of tonight be the spirit of Kol Beit Yisrael as we find humility and the desire in our hearts to sit and to iron out differences that we may have amongst each other. We ask you, great King, to bless the meals that people may be eating tonight in their homes as they view us on Zoom, wherever they may be, Yehovah, be with Kol Beit Yisrael. On every opportunity, we ask you, great King, to pardon our errors and our shortcomings and be with Kol Beit Yisrael throughout the four corners of this earth. We thank you once again, Yehovah, for our lives, the lives of our families. We thank you once again, great King, that you remembered us to return unto us and to choose us as a people to be the example in this earth. We ask you, great King, to continue to be with Kol Beit Yisrael this night and throughout the week that is approaching. Forevermore, with one voice, we unite to say, Nehalel 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 Yochai, Yochai, Yochai.
So once again, thanking the Most High God for his kindness, his mercy, and his compassion. We thank you for joining us this evening as we discuss this topic that is crucial to our community. And I'll just go through a brief summary of what the rules are. And just bear in mind, the end goal of this is that there are really no winners or no users. The end goal is so that we can edify our community on how we can be better, how we can be healthier, and most importantly, how we could get closer to the Creator. So the topic of discussion today is going to be, is marijuana usage healthy? Not like, not don't like, is it healthy? The affirmative team will be Misharei Yaakov, Moreh Yaya, and Misharei Shemuel. The negative team will be Tasania, Akmalkiel, and Akazaria. The debate structure will have 8 rounds. The first round, which is going to be 3 to 5 minutes, will be the opening argument. The second round, which will also be 3 to 5 minutes, will be the response, the opening argument on the negative side. The argument must be a minimum of 3 minutes, and the argument cannot exceed 5 minutes. We're going to go through the subsequent rounds at 3 minutes each, and please bear in mind, you'll be notified, each speaker will be notified of their time when they have 30 seconds left, and once we say time, each speaker has to stop at that point. Just making sure we are all okay and making sure that I covered everything. And also, each member of the team must have an opportunity to speak. So we're going to start off with the affirmative team. And let me get my timer ready. Who's going to be presenting for the affirmative team? Okay.
For as long as I could remember, my mother and my father, in our home kept roots and barks and other homeopathic remedies to maintain and as a proactive and also to mitigate anything that may arise. We've had concoctions and tinctures and things of that nature that have been proven effective for thousands of years as a daily usage in our homes. I remember being sick with chicken pox and consuming something called yarrow tea, which was disgusting, but it also proved effective. Even as we look to our gift that the Most High God has given us in the Torah and the Tanakh in general, we were given specific instructions on how to proceed and use these things to our benefit and how not to overuse these things, which can be found in Genesis 1:11 and Isaiah 5:11. When used as directed by a medical professional or an herbalist, these things called cannabidiol and tetrahydrocannabinol are proven effective against things like seizures and epileptic fits.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
As seen, and also with people with chronic ailments and illnesses, that has been proven as a great pain management, used for insomnia, and even in pregnant women, used to mitigate nausea. It is so effective that it has been proven and approved in 47 states. We wholeheartedly believe and support the use of cannabis in a safe and responsible manner that is meant to heal and not for recreational use.
Thank you very much for that. Toraya. And now we're going to hear from the negative team. Who's going to be presenting first?
So my team is against the use of marijuana for recreational purposes. Marijuana abuse can be unhealthy, and many of the packets that are performed to you, many of the marijuana that's available for use is targeted towards children. They would have orange and colorful packets to display, oh, this is cool, this is something that you should do. But marijuana should not be used by those that are below the age of at least 21, but that has been proven not to be followed by most people. The lungs aren't developed until the age of 25, so the smoking of marijuana damages the lungs and causes irreparable harm to the person that's using it. The brain is not developed fully after a certain age, but even then, IQ Studies have shown that IQ drops have been caused by marijuana, and we believe that it should be avoided. Many toxins, irritants, and carcinogens found in marijuana are also found in tobacco products. Studies show that the potency of marijuana in common use has increased dramatically in the past 2 decades, at least in terms of THC content. THC has been proven to cause a decline in brain power, i.e. the IQ drop of 8 points that has been proven that IQ cannot be regenerated, and generally smoking damages the airways and alveoli. Smoking irritates tissues of bronchial and alveoli and damage the lining of the lungs. So we wholeheartedly believe that marijuana is not healthy. Marijuana is not healthy, and it should not be used on a recreational basis. That's it.
So now we're going to hear from the first rebuttal of the affirmative against what was just presented.
Are you ready?
Shalom, shalom. Our bodies is made up of 60 to 70% water, liquid. However, if we understand that any product that is good for us, if it is overused and it's not used correctly, it can have negative effects upon us. We know that water is very essential for sustaining our bodies. But did you know that if you drink too much water, it can be fatal? There is evidence that's shown that there is something called water intoxication. Over 14 people have died with this disease and this effect. But again, we cannot come to a conclusion that water is not good because people are dying from it. They're only dying because it's not used correctly. Similarly, marijuana, any drug, any herb, if used correctly, will have a positive effect on our bodies. Growing up in South America, Guyana, one of the cuisines that our native Amerindians use very well is also known as cassava bread. You know, cassava is very nutritious. It's high in vitamin C. It alters your sugar. But if it's not correctly processed, that same cassava bread can be poisonous. So again, we cannot outline and come to a conclusion that cassava is unhealthy because people are dying from it. They're only dying because it's not used correctly. If you look at what we're going to present here, at no given time, we're supporting recreational use of marijuana, but only for medicinal purposes. If you look at the slide 5, you will see methods in which it can be consumed: capsules, tea, oils, butter, powder, steaming, edibles, sprays, etc. So at no given time, we're promoting the use of it via smoking. In fact, if it's smoked, there's a lot of toxins that you can get as a result of that. However, when it comes to its consumption, we're saying that it has to be used carefully and according to the guidelines of someone that has the knowledge of herbs. Toda Rabah.
So round 4, we will have the negative team who will come up and will respond to 1 or 2 specific claims for the affirmative team. 3 minutes.
Shalom, shalom. Marijuana is one of those drugs that can actually help rather than, do damage, but it does more damage than good in my opinion. It brings about more mental illness in impoverished areas. If you think about it, you live in the hood, right? You live in a bad area, you see a lot of things going on, you have mental illness. You can't go to the pharmacy to get your own things, so you go around the corner to an older man who sells cannabis. All your friends are doing it. All your cousins are doing it. Everybody's doing it. So you think, oh, it's fine. It looks okay. I can try. I can dibble and dab. Now, before you know it, now you need it to cope with the mental illness that you have living in this impoverished area. You have friends that died at your young age. You go straight to the cannabis to ease your pain. You have a bad grade in school. You go straight to cannabis to ease your pain. So now it's becoming more repetitive than helping out. 27% of teens use it for medicinal, use it to help with seizures, use it to help with cancer, other things like that, back pains, head pain, all that other things like that. But then you have the other 72% who uses it just to have fun, who uses it at a party, who use it to impress this girl who he knows that, oh, this is cool. If he does that, I'm cool. She might like me. But then it comes to a fact that you don't know what you're getting. You're getting it from somebody else that doesn't have any type of license. Okay, granted, it's for medicinal, but where is this coming from? It's not coming from a pharmacy. It's coming from the pockets of somebody else who got it from the pockets of somebody else who probably got it off a ship, who probably got it somewhere he doesn't know about. In these inner city hoods or towns, most of this cannabis is either laced with fentanyl or laced with something else that has nothing to do with the original production of the plant. So now you're not only smoking or trying to use it for medicinal places, now you're depending on this herb because you don't know that's infused with something else that has nothing to do with the original property. And counteracting what one of my partners said about the colorful packs and everything is, it's like it's drawn towards kids. If you don't sell Percocets that helps with sleeping or something else in a big bright bag, you sell in a white pill bottle that's capsule that's still tight for children not to open. But if you leave a bag of marijuana sitting there, this child can grab it like this. Your dog can grab it like this. Your little baby can grab it like this. So now it becomes more of a hazard. Like, you wouldn't leave your gun sitting there because it does more harm, way more than good in certain senses. But to wrap it all up, there's good and there's bad, but there has to be a certain way of you doing certain things. And as you can see, most of the time in certain areas, we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to get this cannabis. So we go about the second round just doing it secondhand or from somebody else that's not a trusted source. And that's time.
Toda Rabah. So now we're going to go into round 5. Round 5 is the affirmative team making its second and final rebuttal argument, responding to one or two specific claims put forth by the negative team. 2 minutes.
To respond, at no point in time did we do we support any, using it for any recreational use. Only for medicinal purposes. Used, proven to be used, helpful for Alzheimer's and Crohn's disease, as we saw epilepsy and seizures, multiple sclerosis, severe chronic pains, and things of that nature. We are promoting a way to use it that will be beneficial to everyone who uses it. We're not promoting using it and just giving it to any of the youth. We are not promoting the use of it in any other manner except for the way in which it was designed to be used. It wasn't created to be smoked. It was not created to be smoked. So we're going to use it just like any other herb. You boil it to make tea. You use the CBD oil. You use it in these various tinctures and things of that nature for beneficial purposes, to heal, not for recreational use.
Thank you for that. So after round 6, we're going to take a 10-minute break. So round 6 is the negative team that will make its second and final rebuttal argument, responding to 1 to 2 specific claims put forth by the affirmative team. 2 minutes.
Shalom. So I want to respond to the focus on its medicinal purposes. So we're focusing on CBD, but CBD is the second most important ingredient for marijuana. And that can be extracted and used separately. To promote the use of marijuana in any sense, whether recreationally or medicinally, really requires a conversation on THC. And that is what actually causes the altered sense of being, losing sense of time and all those short-term effects and the long-term effects in terms of our health, physical and mental health. And as we focus on CBD as a medicinal purpose, we have to recognize that most people do not know how to use these things. And in the United States, because the United States has always focused on making the use of marijuana in any way illegal, people often find different ways of using it without consulting anybody who is trained in that way. I want to bring up in the 1980s, there was a case where they were using this thing called AzDaDon, which was a Mexican treatment for digestive issues. And they had many cases where many children were coming into the hospital because the usage that the people had realized this works was causing people to contract lead poisoning, especially in young children. So with anything, we need to focus on how to deal with, especially when we focus on epilepsy, we need to look at other options because CBD only treats 2 very rare and severe forms of epilepsy. So, and if that is the justification for the use of marijuana, it is not necessarily the best one because it's very specific. Yes, that's all.
Total for that. So now we're going to take a 10-minute break, just so we're all aware what's coming up in rounds 7 and 8. Round 7 is 3 to 5 minutes, where the negative team will make its closing argument summarizing why marijuana usage is not healthy. The argument will be 3 minutes, but not to exceed 5 minutes. In round 8, it'll be 3 to 5 minutes, where the affirmative team will make their closing argument summarizing why marijuana usage is healthy. And so we'll see you in 10 minutes. Toraya. So Chief YisraEL, if you want to take the next 10 minutes to play some music or have a conversation, maybe you want to get some feedback from those that any comments that might be in the chat, now would be a good time to do so. Amen.
Shalom, shalom, family. How y'all doing out there? So, I see there was some very strong points made on both sides. I like the uncle niece aspect. I think those 2 points were the strongest. And but I'm not a judge. You know what I mean? I think that it comes down to a lot of what we might feel and what we might believe, and you know how we might use it in terms of the the herb itself. So very interesting. I really appreciate this. In terms of whether or not this should be a topic for the Shabbat day, we talk about many things on the Shabbat day. This is, of course, is some of the things that we teach about the herb, bearing seed, and what the Most High God gave us. We speak about many things on the Shabbat day, and to each his own. Some people want to read Psalms all day. I don't think this is one of those conversations that would be so like taboo for the Shabbat day. So I think it's a very good topic. It's something that's happening within the black community that might be happening in excess, and it's topics that we need to talk about because it's in the midst of us. You have a lot of this synthetic stuff out here that people are getting addicted to. You have a opioid crisis within our communities, amongst the youth in general. People are overdosing on a lot of opioids and things of that nature. So, we need to cover all these things. These are things we need to talk about, and what better setting to do it when all the families around and we could hear and we could listen and we could talk about it. Somebody said, only Yahweh said, I think they're just short-changing the herb. She said, no smoking. She said, just eat and drink. I think that's what she wrote earlier. Eat or drink it. Somebody said, don't eat, drink it, take a pill of flour. I never heard about that, but I guess there's always new usage for it. Now I know that it helps for when people are having seizures, when people are in extreme pain. There's certain type of things that you could extract from it. But like I said, the argument is good on both points, on both sides. I mean, and this is a necessary conversation. Says, I use CBD for Camet Bed writes, I use CBD for medicine. I was in a car accident that caused a back injury. I will not take the pain pill. So there you go. You have someone that uses it for medicinal purposes. David Cobb says, I'm not the biggest fan of consuming it. I would rather light up. That's just me, and I'm probably dead wrong, but that's just me. Oh, goodness. Let me see here. I see my brother Shaaltiel is in the building under his incognito name. Shalom, shalom, brother Shaaltiel. Very fine people on both sides. Somebody said, I think both sides were saying the same thing. Let's go to the top. Okay. So Tamar YisraEl writes, is the argument to use for medicinal purposes or recreational? Shouldn't the debate be geared towards one usage or not both? Okay. So yes, very important debate. Got 142 people on listening. I think we're listening all the way from Guyana, from all parts of the country, and people are tuning in for the debate. We're just waiting for them to come back. They're having a 10-minute break, and then they'll come back with the final debates. Don't forget to stay tuned tonight. We will be reviewing or listening to, having a listening to a new album, The Programming 2 by Lowkey Lev. Just dropped today. Holy music, so just stay tuned. I might play one of, no, I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to wait till we're ready to do that. We're going to have some people on that panel to do that together. But yeah, it's very good debate thus far. I'm really appreciating the vibes. And it was kind of quick. It was kind of fast. I thought it was going to be drawn out and long, but it was really, really kind of quick and kind of fast. So we're going to be picking it up soon, back up soon. Everybody's celebrating with no pain. Yeah, we'll see about that. Celebrating with no pain. So, let me see. Let me see what I could do here, what I could play here before we get going back again. Know what we could do here. Let's do this.
I want to praise, I want to praise, I want to praise, I want to praise. He gives me life, I won't survive without my King. Yeah. I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve. He gives me life, I won't survive without my King. Without my King. I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing. He gives me life, I won't survive without my King. Without my King. When it's over, when it's said and done, He will be here, the one from which we come. Said from the beginning, oh, so when we leave, He will be here. So in Him I believe. So I sing my praise. I want to praise. I want to praise. I want to praise. He gives me life. I won't survive without my King. Without my King. I want to serve. I want to serve. I want to serve. I want to serve. He gives me life. I won't survive without my King. Without my King. I want to sing. I want to sing. I want to sing. I want to sing. He gives me life. I won't survive without my King. survive without my King. I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve. He gives me life, I won't survive without my King. I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing.
So I want to thank everyone thus far for their participation. I want to thank you, Chief YisraEl, for facilitating the conversation in the chat. And we also want to thank everyone who gave their comments in the chat. So now we're going to wrap it up with rounds 7 and 8. Negative team, 3 to 5 minutes.
So, a study from the University of Washington has showed that between 1995 and 2014, THC has increased in marijuana and CBD has decreased in marijuana. CBD is, again, what has been focused on as the medicinal property that can justify the use of marijuana. And because it has remained relatively consistent over the years as the intoxicating property of marijuana has increased, marijuana is not going to be used as the medicinal thing that people are trying to justify. And we see that in that same study, they showed there's an increased use in college students. I feel like the use of the word recreational has been thrown around because oftentimes the people who smoke weed may use weed as self-medicating. And especially as Black people in the United States, we understand that there is a certain stigma surrounding mental health issues as well as learning disabilities. So to say that, like, not only for those who live in impoverished areas, but for college students, not being able to get the help that you need may lead people to decide to smoke weed as an alternative. And for those with mental health issues and with learning disabilities, the use of weed is going to hinder the progress that people make. And so by the time people are maybe able to overcome that stigma and seek the help that they need, it may be too far gone for them to receive that help, which ultimately leaves it as something that we should not be using or look to justify the use of. So, and in addition to the issues on mental health and learning disabilities, it worsens depression and increases the likeliness of dependence. And oftentimes when we talk about dependence on drugs, if we want to talk about plants, maybe next time we'll be doing a debate on the use of heroin or cocaine, because those are also derivatives of plants, opium and coca, and I'm sure we will not be doing that next time. So what is the difference between that and a herb like weed? They're all plants, if that's what the argument is, and if it can be used in any way that is helpful to people. And in addition to that, because CBD is the only thing that can justify the use of marijuana, there is many CBD-based medications that can be used. Marijuana does not have to be the drug of choice to treat those things, because especially in the increased use among the very, very rare disorders that specifically epileptic disorders that we see, Lennox-Gastaut and Dravet, it uses Epidiolex. So marijuana does not need to be that treatment. So overall, marijuana does not offer the medicinal help that it does need. And while we can acknowledge that it does have health benefits, we have to consider the adverse mental and physical effects that marijuana has on the body and how it is motivating bad behaviors amongst the community. And in order to lift up the community, we need to make sure that those things that alter our progress, starting with the individuals, are removed.
Thank you very much. Round 8, the affirmative will make its closing arguments, summarizing why marijuana usage is healthy. 3 to 5 minutes.
Shabbat shalom המבורך לכולכם. Yes. I'll be using slides for this presentation, first 5 slides. I respect the arguments of our respected opponents, and I think that we need to focus on the core of the proposition. Is marijuana use healthy? Let's define on the next slide marijuana, then use, then healthy. It's not whether people can corrupt it, whether criminality is good, whether lacing things is good. But is marijuana use healthy? Defined specifically as cannabis, which includes the hemp plant as well as the marijuana plant. It's a psychoactive drug from the cannabis plant, native to Central and South America. It's been used for centuries. As you can see here, we have hemp oil versus CBD oil. Only difference is crushing the seeds of the same plant and pressing the oil, like we do with any other vegetable oil, or with CBD oil to produce the cannabinoid molecules. You simply use the leaves, flowers, and stalk, also the buds, which is the flower, using a bit of CO2 and alcohol. It's used medicinally. This is the term that we're using when we define, is marijuana use healthy? We have now defined the plant seeds and the plant's leaves and buds can be crushed and the juice is extracted. Is that juice that is extracted from its component parts used healthily? Now we need to understand use. In our proper defense of the proposition, just the next slide, please. You need to refresh. I'm sorry. If you can just hit F5. I'll continue with what the point is. As you pull that up, it's scripture. The Creator gave us the Torah, the prophets, and the writings to tell us how to make use of the planet Earth that we've been given. We know that we've been given use of herbs since the beginning. That was our food. That was our source of healing. It says here also by the prophets, we also know how the abuse of something is not the same as the use. We did not say, is marijuana abuse healthy? That was not what we were asked. We were asked, is this plant to be used in a healthy way? The prophet Yeshayahu takes another plant that turned into a thug culture or a high culture or a party culture, and that was the plant called a grape, yayin, which is where we get the word wine from, or a vine in the English language. It says in Isaiah 5:11-13, and I think our opposition would agree, woe to those who rise early in the morning that they may run after strong drink, or THC, just the pure chemical that comes out of a grape to make you have a high reaction. Those who tarry late into the evening as wine, or THC, inflames them. They have lyre and harp, drum and flute, or beatbox and music. At their feasts or their parties, they do not regard the deeds of Yah or see the work of his hands. Therefore, my people will go into exile for the lack of knowledge. We completely agree. The Torah tells us what use is. If he said no, he would have said no. Just like pork and blood. It's just no. He never says no. He says that is an abuse of it. However, at the end of his book, he says, Isaiah 65:8, thus says Yah, as new wine is found in a cluster, and they say, do not destroy it, for there is a blessing in it. And so I will do for my servant's sake and not destroy them all. In other words, you cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater, and he uses that as a prophetic example of how you can use the good that comes out of wine to elevate. So therefore, plant and use can be done in a healthy way, biblically and rationally. Finally, on the word health, please, last slide. Tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, which we have heard. We agree. If this is growing over the years, that is called genetically modifying those organisms. In 25 years, as opposed to 2,500 years, a plant's not going to change unless humans are causing it to evolve, only to make the mind-altering substance to be the most important part. However, that mind-altering part is naturally balanced by the cannabinoids, which are the oils from squeezing out the leaves and crushing the buds, not with heat, which burns it, but with heat that simply extracts oil from it. the difference between smoking a cigarette and crushing your vegetables into a blender. So when in its natural combination, not affected by profiteers who are trying to cash in on an American public looking to get high and ignore its problems, as the prophet Isaiah says, indeed, we can see it is healthy. Thank you.
So, it was actually very interesting. You got real interesting at the end. Actually, it was interesting throughout. So the first thing I want to ask, if we can just give all of the presenters a huge round of applause. Because looking at this was difficult because everyone presented clearly, everyone had their information ready, and we hope and pray that the end goal of both conversations is going to be a benefit for our community. So we're just going to take a little bit of time to tally up the scores, and we're coming back and we're going to give them a decision. And why? Okay, so we're coming back and we're going to give you a decision, and then we're going to discuss whether or not the why is going to be included. Chief YisraEL, DJ, sure, please help us out.
All right. So as they tallying up the scores, we are, it got like Samaz Al-Kar said at the end, it got interesting because YisraEl Yaakov made a strong presentation at the end. That was a strong presentation. I thought that the other team almost, edged it out, and then he came with scriptures at the end. And he said it's the same thing. So once again, like my brother said, everyone did an amazing job to present, to bring forth their arguments. So now they tallying up the scores, and they making sure that everything was, who came out at the end. And I got my lotion for my hands. Yes, I got the lotion for my hands. Those who know, got the lotions for my hand, all right? Toda for that. So don't forget, after this, we're gonna be doing we're gonna be looking through that program in part 2. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. For those of you who are tuned in. Yes, so that was well done. Really appreciated what everyone had to say and how everything came forward. And everyone did an amazing job. I'm proud of the youth that were able to stand there and actually bring their points, make it clear, and not be overcome by the moment. So give a hand to all the youth that were there, that actually presented their position and did what they were supposed to do. I didn't know how this was going to turn out, but it turned out really good. And like I said, YisraEl Yaakov at the end, he kind of went, he got real technical professor-like on everybody. So I don't know, that might be like one of those type of points that edge things over the top. So he did a very, very good job. All the people out there who indulge are going to be very happy with that closing presentation by YisraEl Yaakov. They're gonna be putting a lot of clap emojis after his presentation. So I like to thank the Hebrew family of Charlotte, Hashava YisraEl, and all the people out there who made this possible, and all the youth that made it possible. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We need to have more of these things.
Chief Uzziah, if I could just jump in for a minute.
Kane.
I know you're probably like, the jury came back too fast. This is rigged. We're still working on the numbers.
It's
but
okay.
But what I did want to ask you, Chief Uzziah, is if you wouldn't mind to put a survey in the chat to get the people in
problem.
the chat.
Yes,
get their feedback on
I
who
will
they
do
thought.
that.
Yeah. And we should be back shortly.
No problem. So, gotta try to do a survey here. Start a poll. So, I'm still trying to work on this thing here. All right. I know how to word it. Who won the debate? I know exactly how to word it. Straight to the point. And there's a poll up on the actual chat. So all the I already know what's going on with this. Uh-oh. Come on, we got 183 people in the chat. And we only got 33 votes. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let me see them votes. Let me see them votes. You got 182 people right now in the chat, and we only got 39 votes. We should have over 100 votes right now. Let's go. The poll is up. Who won the debate, pro or con? You have two options there. And Cohen Hodiah trying to get on. I'm letting you on, Cohen. So yes, you know, it's a very good debate, very good debate. I was really, really happy with it. And I like the way that it went. Yeah, it's all about the argument. I feel like that last argument, I guess he who has the mic last. You know, it came down basically to who had the mic last. I mean, his presentation, Misharet Yaakov presentation was strong, you know, at the end. So the slide showed the whole thing, you know, the wine. Someone is trying to call me. All right, so not used to. All right, what's going on here? I think someone is trying to call me or text me. See what's going on here. Cohen Hodiah, you here? Come on, let's go. Share your feedback. Cohen Hodiah, let's go. The mic is yours.
And shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom,
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Glory be to the creator, maker of heaven and earth. To all the presenters, they presented well. I think the mood, as they would say it, could have been. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Can, all right. Yeah, I was saying that I think that all the presenters did well in presenting their arguments and their cases of their case. At least we can say that our objective was to have conversation within the home, so a topic that we all know is affecting Israelite communities and Black communities around the world. The objective is for us to speak about it, particularly speak about it with the children and communicate with them and find out what's going on. As an educator, as a teacher, I can tell you that this is one of the issues that's affecting a lot of the children and their progression academically. We know that there are some positives and there are some negatives. Our objective is not to tell people who use it not to use it, tell people who don't use it to use it. But the objective is to start the conversation so parents particularly can their children. Children can speak to each other and we can continue to grow and continue to develop as a nation around the world. We realize that this problem is not a problem that's limited to a place, but it's all over the world. So I hope that all those listening would speak to each other, show arguments for, arguments against, but of course in a manner that's respectable and that would give glory to the great King, Yehovah, always, because that's the objective, to give the Creator glory and for us to build the nation of Israel and build the kingdom of Yah, wheresoever we are around the world. So to the presenters, Toda for you taking this opportunity to present the group that is on, Toda for everybody, Toda Chief Uziel for your contribution, and all the other contributors and communities around the world that made this possible tonight.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. And Torah to you, More Cohen Hodaya, and all of the brothers and sisters from the Hebrew family of Charlotte, and the Hebrew family of Guyana, and everything that, everyone that has something to do with putting this together. I didn't know how this was going to go, but as I see it, that it went real good. And right now in the polls, we got 190 something people on right now, and we only got 88 votes. But as you would say in Spanish, the con is taking una paliza, loco. Pro is 76%. I think all the cannabis, all the people who indulge in the cabinets, all the people who indulge in the reefers are out and full of fat, making their kids vote for them. Vote pro. But Imam, I don't really want to. I said vote pro. You heard what I said.
That's
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
hopefully it was a change.
Okay.
Hopefully, as they said they should vote pro, they're explaining why they should vote pro.
Some people just want to win the argument. They not explaining nothing.
Got it. Please
No.
explain it. Please explain it.
No, definitely.
Because these children, if we don't explain it to them, they're gonna Google it, they're gonna YouTube it, they're gonna go to their friends about it, and they make it to the wrong people and get wrong information.
Absolutely.
So parents are the first ones who are responsible for teaching.
Sometimes,
So, please explain it.
on a serious note, and I could speak for myself, never in my 47, I'm 47? Yeah, I'm 47. Never in my 47 years on this earth have I taken a pull of marijuana ever. Whatever you might think, never taken a pull in my life. And my story doesn't have to be everyone else's story, but being young, I remember there was a guy that we used to see all the time. We used to look up to this guy. He was maybe like, I want to say he was about 8 or 10 years older than us. And this guy used to be walking up and down the street. And he, and from one day to another, he lost his mind. And someone told us because he smoked marijuana. Not necessarily didn't have to be from smoking marijuana, but as a child, that had an effect on me, and I never had a desire to smoke marijuana. So I was too young to know whether or not, whether the weed was laced or anything like that. But that had a profound effect on me to where I never wanted to do it. And no matter how much smoke was around me, I never had a desire to do it. So that's my story as to why I never took a puff a day in my life, and why I don't desire to take a puff any day of my life. So I hope that helps someone out there. All right? So I think they're ready back in Charlotte.
All right. Amen. So once again, if we could just give everybody a round of applause, all of the presenters. We want to again emphasize that it's not about winning or losing. It's about invoking thought and starting the conversation about something that is a major issue in our community. So I just want to emphasize that. So we had two judges. Two judges saw things slightly different. And so we had to go to technicalities and rules. So the pro team had 2 rule infractions. The con team had 1 rule infraction. So by default, the con team wins because of that 1 rule infraction. But I think everybody agrees that it was neck and neck until that last interaction, that last exchange. And if we can give them 2 also a huge round of applause, because that was excellent. Excellent.
Jim, I don't know.
Thanking the Most High God for life, strength. Thanking the Most High God for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom, Lecha.
Shabbat Shalom, Lecha. Jim, I don't know what happened with the judges, but I think something happened in the background that the youth pulled it off by technicality. All the reefer smokers are angry at this moment. Somebody said, what just happened? Oh, man, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's great when we could get together. We could have fun. We could laugh. Listen, I've been saying it for years. The Shabbat day is not this is stuff that we be discussing around the table. Just like we discuss the Most High, we discuss everything else, and we sit down and we have a good time with our family. This is 189 people gathered around watching. And if it's 189 devices on, that could be well over 600-700 people listening right now. So these are conversations we have, we talk about, and that we do. You know what I mean? Y'all ready for that? I know some of y'all going to tune out, but y'all ready for that Lowkey Lev? Y'all ready for that programming too? I'm going to go straight into it. But first, I'm going to invite these people in. I'm going to play some tunes. You never have 2 judges. Something happened in the background, Jim. I seen the look on. I seen the look. I want to know who was the. I want to know who was the third person and what they said. The technicalities. I wanted to know what was the technicalities in this thing. Oh my goodness, I love it though. I love it. I love it. It was a beautiful thing. Everybody did well. Let's see what we could do here, man. We might as well just keep it moving right here in this same vein. So let me see what I could do here. Thank you to the people down in the Hebrew family of Charlotte, and the Hebrew family of Guyana, everybody, Korn Hodaya, my brother Baritiel, Avishadai, everybody who participated, Mori Yaya, Misharet Yaakov, Ak Shemuel, who I seen over there? I seen Zaria. Forget the young man's name. It's escaping me right now. And Tasania, they all did a magnificent job. Everything was on point. Everything was on point. It was on point.